Title Dama Pablo Escobar, the King of Cocaine. In the small town of Rio Negro, Antioquia, Colombia, on December 1st, 1949, a child was born into modest poverty. His name, Pablo Emilio Escobar Gaviria. To some, he was a Robin Hood. To others, a monster. But to history, he remains one of the most powerful and dangerous drug lords of all time. Act 1. The Rise of a Young Dreamer. 1950s to 1970s. Pablo grew up in nearby Medellin, the third of 7 children. His father was a farmer, his mother a school teacher. But young Pablo had bigger dreams than farmland or classrooms. In his teenage years, he sold fake diplomas and smuggled stereo equipment. He even stole tombstones, sandblasted them, and resold them. His ambition? Clear. His morals? Already fading. Everyday life, 1970s. Woke up early, dressed in modest clothes, handled calls with local smugglers, managed shipments of contraband between Colombia and Panama, ate breakfast with family, always respectful to his mother, drove around Medellin in a beat-up Renault, scoping out police patrols. But it wasn't long before he saw a bigger opportunity. Cocaine. Pure, cheap, and wildly profitable in the United States. Act Second, Lord of the Medellin Cartel, 1980s. By the early 1980s, Pablo had founded the Medellin Cartel, a drug empire that supplied 80% of the world's cocaine. At the height of his power, Escobar was making $420 million per week. Everyday life, 1980s. Slept in different safe houses, always surrounded by bodyguards. Breakfast, simple Colombian arepas or coffee. Morning, met cartel lieutenants to coordinate air routes and bribes. Midday, visited the barrio to hand out cash, pay for surgeries, build soccer fields, winning the love of the poor. Evening, horse rides on his private zoo in Hacienda Nápoles. Night, reviewed ledgers of shipments, watched American TV, sometimes listened to news reports about his own killings. His daily routine was a blend of violence, charity, and paranoia. For every school he built, he also ordered a judge's assassination. Act 3. War with the State, 1989 to 1991. Escobar declared war on the Colombian government. He bombed airplanes, murdered presidential candidates, and flooded the streets with terror. Everyday life, 1989 to 1991. Constant movement between bunkers. Sleep was irregular. His children were taught to flee at a moment's notice. Spent hours listening to police radio, tracking elite search block movements. Paid millions to politicians to block extradition. Carried 2 pistols and a cyanide pill, always prepared to die. But even a king needs a castle. In 1991, he struck a deal. He'd surrender, but only if he could build his own prison, La Catedral. Act 4, La Catedral and the Fall, 1991 to 1993. La Catedral was no ordinary prison. It had a jacuzzi, bar, disco, and even a soccer field. But when Escobar started murdering from within its walls, the government moved to transfer him. Everyday life, 1991 to 1992 inside La Catedral. Woke late, exercised in the morning fog. Met with guests, drug dealers, prostitutes, even politicians. Made phone calls from an in-house telecommunications center. Played soccer or billiards in the afternoon. Night. Smoked cigars. Discussed cartel politics over whiskey. But once he escaped La Catedral in 1992, he became Colombia's most wanted man again. Everyday life, 1992 to 1993 on the run. Rarely slept in the same place twice. Communicated with family through radio codes and burner phones. Disguised himself, changed cars constantly. Grew paranoid, trusted no one, not even his closest allies. Final act, December 2nd, 1993. One day after his 44th birthday, Escobar's phone call to his son was traced. On December 2nd, 1993, Colombian forces backed by the USDEA, surrounded a rooftop in Medellin. His last moments, barefoot, breathing hard, running across tiles. Armed with only a pistol, he was shot in the leg, torso, and, some claim, his own hand delivered the fatal shot to the ear. Pablo Escobar was dead. Epilogue. The legacy. To some, Pablo Escobar was a villain who drenched Colombia in blood. To others, a benefactor who gave hope to the forgotten. But no matter how you remember him, his name is etched in the dark corners of history. As a king without a crown who built an empire on powder and fear, and whose daily life was a tragic paradox between family man and cold-blooded killer. Plata o plomo, silver or lead. For Escobar, it was always both.